I admit that I am a few days late on this topic. However, I've been extremely busy with a lot of other things, video ideas, personal stuff that I'm going through. It's been hectic for me the last couple of days, so I tried to fit this into my schedule, and I might as well just get it out of the way. I might as well just make a video talking about it. So a while back, I made a video on this really awful, obscure web cartoon called Family Gal, which, despite the name, isn't really all that much of a Family Guy clone. Only with the name is it a ripoff of Family Guy. The rest of the show has like nothing to do with Family Guy, but it was still an awful cartoon regardless. I declared it to be the worst cartoon ever made on the search for the worst cartoon, which, for those that are unfamiliar, is a series I have where I try to find the worst cartoon ever made. I considered it the worst cartoon ever made in the sense that, like, I couldn't understand what was going on in it. It was just this incomprehensible cluster of a show. There were only 3 episodes that were made. They were all from 2022, and there's not been a new episode since August of 2022. Earlier this month, I received an email stating that the Family Gal search for the worst cartoon could no longer be monetized, a copyright claim, which I wasn't really too disappointed about this, considering the fact that the video had been out for a while and it wasn't really raking in that many views, and obviously that means I wouldn't be able to make that much money off of it, so I didn't really have much of an issue with this. I know, like, having copyright claims, it sucks, but, like, this was an instance where it's like, I don't really think there was anything that I could do about it. I'm just bringing that up here because I have no idea if this is connected to the main thing that I wish to talk about in this video. There are certain cartoons that I look at on the search for the worst cartoon that are available to watch on YouTube. And these shows that I can watch on YouTube, I usually save playlists for them for future episodes. And included with this was the playlist for Family Gal. So one day I was just on YouTube, bored out of my mind, just scrolling through trying to find a video to watch, and then I noticed something interesting. Looking through my saved playlists, I noticed that Family Gal was completely gone. I looked it up on YouTube and I couldn't find the channel for it either. I found a bunch of different videos. There weren't really that many videos on the show. I found my video on, and I found like videos from a couple other YouTubers, but that was about it, really. I couldn't find the actual show itself, like I couldn't find the episodes themselves. Now, for those that are new here, I'm gonna say that this sort of thing has happened before. I look at a bad cartoon on the search for the worst cartoon, and then lo and behold, it ends up getting taken off of YouTube. It ends up becoming nearly lost media, essentially. In 2013, there was a web cartoon based on the short-lived Nickelodeon sitcom Sam and Cat. It's not a very good web cartoon, I'm just gonna say. I made a video on it back in April of 2023, just talking about how it was a bad show, and then a few months later, I look and I find that a lot of the episodes had been taken off from Viacom, Paramount, whatever. And keep in mind, there is literally no official way to watch this show. You have to rely on unofficial YouTube re-uploads in order to watch it. And so that just got me concerned that, like, these episodes could become lost media. And it's like, even if this is a bad show, I still don't want it to become lost. I still want it to be preserved just because. I've made tons of videos on the whole Little Sam and Cat stuff in the past. You could check them out. I made like a big video a while back. You could check that out if you want more details on this whole Little Sam and Cat stuff. But anyways, the whole situation with Little Sam and Cat made me take the preservation of these cartoons seriously. The cartoons that I look at on the search for the worst cartoon. I would then go on to archive some of the shows that I've looked at on this series. Some of the shows that are on the verge of becoming lost media. And Family Gal was one of them. Well, I wouldn't say Family Gal was on the verge of being lost media, but you never know. Like, something like this just, it came out of nowhere. Like, just poof, Family Gal has been deleted off of YouTube, just like that, with no explanation at all. And keep in mind as well, this show came out in 2022. Only 3 episodes were made. The last episode of the show was in August of 2022, and then the whole channel just went dormant after that. It wouldn't be until sometime around February of 2024 that the whole channel and like all 3 episodes, they would just get deleted, just like that. When exactly did it get deleted, and why did it get deleted? I have no idea, and I most likely will never know. But I wasn't really concerned about Family Gal becoming lost media when compared to the Little Sam and Cat show, because I had archived all the episodes of Family Gal, which, again, there were only 3 episodes, so it was just nothing at all. I did it mainly just to be safe should the worst happen, which it did happen. I genuinely thought that Family Gal was such a terrible show that it was like I refused to have it be lost to media. I was just so amazed by how bad it was. I was so amazed by how poorly made it is. That's just, I could not have it be lost media. I just simply couldn't. There's also something that I would like to address about the show regarding my stance on it being the worst cartoon ever made. When I say it's the worst cartoon ever made, I mean in terms of its production quality, it is the worst cartoon ever made. It is so badly made. It is hard to understand what's going on in it. I think I've mentioned a couple times that it feels like AI made this show, and I could genuinely see that being the case. But thinking about it now in retrospect, it doesn't really piss me off that much. I wasn't offended by how bad the show was or anything like that. Out of all the cartoons I've looked at on the search for the worst cartoon, this is easily the worst one in terms of production quality, but just looking at the show itself compared to like Fairview or whatever, like it didn't really piss me off that much. Then again, Fairview, at the very least, I could understand what was going on in it, but at the same time, that kind of makes Fairview worse because I can understand what's going on in it compared to Family Gal, if that makes sense. Family Gal, I decided in retrospect, yeah, it's terrible, but like I could see it being kind of funny bad. I wouldn't call it funny bad at all. It's not like the Nut Shack or the Adventures of Kid Danger or anything like that. It's not funny bad like those shows. But like maybe I could see it being funny bad to someone. I could see someone getting like ironic enjoyment out of it. And so I decided to move it up a bit higher on the search for the worst cartoon ranking list. Also, I don't want to spoil what the next search for the worst cartoon is going to be about, but there's a cartoon that I'm gonna look at that I think has taken the mantle for being the worst cartoon I've ever seen. So that's just one of the many things that have contributed to me deciding, you know what, Family Gal is not the worst cartoon I've looked at. I mean, truth be told, I kind of held that stance that like Family Gal was the worst one only in terms of its production quality, but not for the show itself. But like the fact that the show very nearly became lost media, combined with the fact that I would go on to find a cartoon that is oh so much worse in every single aspect. Yeah, Family Gal is not the worst one I've seen. It's only with its production quality I would say it's the worst one. Speaking of which, I just want to say I'm sorry about the lack of search for the worst cartoons lately. This one that I'm working on right now, this new one, is an extremely big video, an extremely long video that I have been wanting to work on forever, and I want to take my time working on it, and I want to make it as good as I could possibly make it. I want to say I'm about maybe 55 to 60% done with the video. So far, the video is an hour and 11 minutes long, so yeah, I have a real big video planned. Just you guys wait. But yeah, I just want to say I am sorry for the lack of search for the worst cartoons lately. I understand that like February is gonna go by with no search for the worst cartoon, and I've just been busy with a lot of things. It'll probably be out sometime in early March. I'm not sure though. But yeah, Family Gal very nearly became lost media, and I figured I might as well just make a quick video talking about that. I'm not gonna take all the credit and be like, oh, I prevented Family Gal from becoming lost media or anything like that, because yeah, I did archive all the episodes before they got deleted off of YouTube for seemingly unknown reasons. As it turns out though, I would find an archive.org page that had all 3 episodes archived. I would link it in the description below, but I have a feeling that could cause them to be taken down. I'm not sure. I have no idea if like the Family Gal videos, if they got taken down for like copyright reasons, or if the creators just simply decide to delete the videos. I have no idea. But regardless, there are archives of Family Gal out there on the internet. This whole situation though, it just makes me take the preservation of these cartoons even more seriously than I already did. Most other cartoon YouTubers would look at some of the shows that I've looked at on this series and think, nothing of value would be lost if these became lost, but I'm not like that. I want these to be archived. I want these to be preserved in some way, shape, or form. I don't want to live in a world where a Better Call Saul cartoon, a bad Better Call Saul cartoon at that, is lost media. I just simply refuse to let that happen, ever. Almost every cartoon that I have reviewed on the Search for the Worst Cartoon, and I mean almost every single one of them, I've sailed the 7 seas in order to watch them. You want to know why? Because I'm not going to spend $40 on a Crunchyroll subscription just so I could be able to watch f***ing High Guardian Spice. I'm not wasting $60 on an HBO Max subscription just so I could be able to watch Velma or The Prince or Santa Inc. or whatever. It's simply not worth it at all. I think a lot of these shows should be archived because some of them I'm just amazed by how bad they are. There are several cartoons out there that, if it weren't for the 7 Seas, they would become lost media very easily. Alan Gregory, for example, could easily become lost media if it weren't for the 7 Seas. Alan Gregory never had a home media release, nor is it available to watch on any streaming service. The only way to watch Alan Gregory is to sail the 7 Seas. There is literally no other way to watch it, and now any other cartoon YouTuber would be like, oh, then the show should just get removed, nothing of value would be lost, but nah. I don't roll like that at all. I know Alan Gregory is trash, but I want it to be archived regardless. In addition to sailing the 7 Seas for a lot of these shows, I also go on to buy DVDs, physical media, for a lot of the shows that I cover. Admittedly, most of these I just buy for novelty purposes and that's it. The Slim Shady Show is one of the worst cartoons I've ever seen. Of course I want to own it on DVD. Of course I want to have the novelty of seeing one of the worst cartoons ever made on my TV screen. How could I possibly resist such a thing? But I also buy these as a form of preservation, to just have these shows in my possession, and just have them preserved in some way. On rare occasions, if I must, I will buy bootlegs of these shows on DVD or Blu-ray or whatever, just to keep them preserved in some way, shape, or form. I'm not sure what it is, but there's just a part of me, this weird part of me, that wants these shows to be preserved in some way. I want them to be archived. It started with the Lil Sam and Cat show, and then it kind of escalated to a bunch of other cartoons that I've looked at on the Search for the Worst Cartoon. Granted, some shows that I've covered on this series have a higher chance of becoming lost media than others, but I'd rather play it safe and just archive these shows, no matter what. I take preservation of stuff very seriously, and I feel like looking at this, I feel like I might be taking it just a little bit too seriously, but that's just how I am, and I can't really stop it, unfortunately. So yeah, that's basically it. I just wanted to make this video talking about Family Gal and how it nearly became lost to media. And this time, unlike with Lil Sam and Cat, it wasn't me that prevented it from being lost to media. I'm not going to take all the credit or anything like that. Someone archived and uploaded all 3 episodes onto archive.org. I would provide a link, but unfortunately, I don't want to risk the link getting taken down or anything of that sort. I don't want the page to get shut down. I don't want anything like that happening, so you're just gonna have to look for it yourself manually. Sorry, but that's just how it has to be. Anyways, that's about it. If you enjoyed this video, then be sure to like, and if you're new to the channel, maybe consider subscribing, as it would be greatly appreciated. Thank you everyone for watching this video, and I will see you all next time. Adios.